Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter holds its 119th free clinic in Cikarang, helping impoverished patients. Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital sends doctors to St. Joseph's Hospital, solving the problem of its doctor shortage. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Su. Thank you for joining us. Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter has held its 119th free clinic at Central Medical Hospital in Cikarang, West Java. In partnering with the hospital on this clinic, the volunteers are able to provide surgical procedures for patients with orophacial cleft, hernia, and other needs. A total of 333 patients receive medical assistance. On the first day of the free clinic, the parking lot of Central Medical Hospital is filled with patients. Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter is working with this hospital to provide medical services to patients who need surgeries. 31-year-old Eddie Bastian has been unable to fix his eldest son's cleft lip since he only earns about $100 a month.
I hope he undergoes surgery soon because we cannot bear to see our child laughed at all the time. I'm grateful to God that we received assistance.
60-year-old Anita looked calm when she was waiting for her turn. However, when she's brought to the surgery table, she loses her courage. Her grandmother cannot bear to see her suffer from illness.
We have no money. Her father is a construction worker who only gets paid when there is work. When he doesn't work, we don't have money.
A doctor, Helen Sergiana, is at the clinic to offer support for the patients and their families.
Of course, they do not want to be laughed at. The parents do not want their children to be laughed at either. Therefore, for them, the sooner the surgeries ahead, the better.
To seek medical treatment, some families even travel for 2 hours to get here. At the 119th free clinic held by Tzu Chi Indonesia chapter, a total of 333 patients are able to receive treatment. In Taiwan, there's a foreign spouse from Indonesia, Ling Xidi, who has to care for her ill husband and father-in-law, as well as her 2 daughters. As a caregiver, she sometimes feels overwhelmed and cries when she's by herself. Despite the difficulties in life, she still shoulders the responsibility to support her family. Let's take a look.
帮他量血压一下。不管了，151。不要，都不要给他看，我很辛苦这样子。对呀。所以你连哭都要偷偷的哭哦。因为你怕怎么样？你舍不得些什么？然后会乱想啊，大陆想着这不是饭。
Ling Xidi from Indonesia felt helpless when her husband fell ill 5 years ago. Back then, she was pregnant with her second daughter.
My tummy was really big since I was pregnant. My husband just fell ill, so I cried every day. There was nothing I could do for him.
Ling Xidi wiped away her tears because she still had to care for her father-in-law who suffers from dementia.
She has to be very patient in caring for her father-in-law as well as her husband. She needs to rely on the strength in her ways to carry them. Therefore, she has to care for her own health.
Caring for her husband and father-in-law, Ling Xidi has developed lumbar vertebrae problems. Psychiatrists suggest that caregivers must take breaks because it is easy for them to be overwhelmed.
According to the conditions of the patients, at different time periods, respite care can allow caregivers to take breaks. This way, they can continue the care in the long term.
Ling Xidi, who is filial, does not complain. Doing manual jobs and caring for her husband, father-in-law, and daughters take up most of her time. Her only wish is for her husband to recover soon. During the 7th lunar month, Tzu Chi volunteers island-wide actively promote vegetarianism to the communities and local businesses. For example, recently volunteers from Beitou and Danshui visited the Northern Thai Power Agency to do so. This is the second time Tzu Chi has visited a company to promote vegetarianism as a means to fight global warming, which subsequently affects how residents use electricity.
This summer in Taiwan, the employees of Thai Power are under immense pressure.
Each day, the engineers are on guard for possible problems due to the pressure of power supply. Today, they have received some much-needed relief. They have also been influenced in their thinking in regards to our environment.
Tzu Chi volunteers are here to promote adopting a vegetarian diet during the 7th lunar month as a means to protect the planet. Coincidentally, there are already employees who are vegetarians.
After I became a vegetarian, I don't have to go to the doctors when I get a common cold. I'm better in 3 days.
While in Hualien, Tzu Chi volunteers visit the community to promote the same ideals.
They're here to remind everyone to do more good deeds, don't kill for offerings, and reduce one's carbon emission. All in all, this will decrease disasters on Earth.
Each year, the Earth's temperature rises higher and higher, which through the short video shown, the audience fully understand the way we are so closely connected with every living being on this planet.
Eating vegetarian isn't just for one's health, but we can also save the planet. We hope through this type of promotion, everyone can wake up to the true benefits of vegetarian diet and cleanse their palate.
Wearing colorful costumes, these volunteers cheer everyone on to adopt a vegetarian diet.
Last year, Tzu Chi volunteers in the Philippines implemented a campaign encouraging people to adopt a vegetarian diet for 21 days during the 7th lunar month. Many enterprises gave positive responses to this event. As this year's 7th lunar month has arrived again, some enterprises provided funds for the food ingredients and invited Tzu Chi volunteers to prepare nearly 1,000 servings of vegetarian box meals each day.
Picking gingers and vegetables, Tzu Chi volunteers in the Philippines came to the markets in Quezon City to buy food for vegetarian box meals.
Time flies as this year's 7th lunar month has arrived again.
Many businessmen support the campaign of going meatless for 21 days during the 7th lunar month, which was launched this year. This year, they put a lot of efforts into making different cuisines. Behind this delicious food is the hard work of volunteers. Enterprises that attend this event for the first time include Hensi Yune's factory.
I think the idea is quite noble, promoting compassion and taking care of the environment as well.
Those who have not yet tried vegetarian food must give it a try because it helps improve our health and it is delicious.
Everyone enjoys the meals as many of them have discovered that vegetarian food is really delicious and healthy.
In Taiwan, Grandpa Guo has been plagued by lower back pain for more than 10 years. Due to the pain, he slouched, hunched his back, and could only sleep sideways, developing pressure sores. Fortunately, doctors at Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital discovered the real cause of his problem and performed a needed surgery. Now, Grandpa Guo can stand up straight and enjoy better quality of sleep.
After the surgery, Grandpa Guo can finally lie down. He's very happy because for more than 10 years, he could only lie sideways when he slept.
My pain extended from my bottom vertebrae to my hip bones and stomach.
When Grandpa Guo was 20-some years old, he fell from the car while moving heavy objects. Back then, he thought he twisted his waist. Later on, he slouched, hunched his back, and was forced to sleep sideways. Finally, the doctors at Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital discovered that his intervertebral disc between the lumbar vertebrae has been damaged.
磨损的椎间盘，一些损坏的一些椎体，全部刮除干净。
We scraped away the damaged part of the intervertebral disc and left a space of 4 centimeters. Then we filled it with donated bone from the bone bank before we fixed it.
After the surgery, 77-year-old Grandpa Guo can finally stand up straight and enjoy better quality of life.
In Taiwan, there are many older hospitals that have a hard time attracting new doctors due to the location of the hospital. Take Huwei St. Joseph Hospital, for example. It has over 50 doctors, many of whom are over 60 years of age. To help relieve hospitals like St. Joseph's, who have a shortage of doctors, Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital sends out their doctors to do clinic time. By doing so, patients don't have to travel far to see a good doctor, and local doctors get some breathing time to rest.
Hailing all the way from Belgium, Dr. Marguerite Billiot is 70 this year, and she has served at the St. Joseph's Hospital for 40 years.
If I can help a bit more, I would do so. I won't say it's not tiring, but if everyone works together, then we can accomplish much.
At this hospital in Yunlin, there are currently 50-some doctors, and half of them are over 60.
As we are located more in the countryside, it's difficult to find doctors. Our doctors, after all these years, have become older.
St. Joseph's then sought out help from the nearby Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital for support.
Although we are tight on doctors ourselves, we are very willing to share our resources. They have been here for 40, almost 50 years, so we need to continue to support them.
This is Dr. Li Zhonghong of Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital, who has clinical hours at St. Joseph's every Tuesday.
刚开始的时候也是会觉得蛮惶恐的，因为就是完全是不同样医院，连这个不管。
In the beginning, I was afraid since the hospital's differences in religious belief in people, but of course the sickness remains the same. So if I can help treat patients locally, then it's more convenient for them.
It's like rain in the desert. Though we are starting out slow, the 1 or 2 clinical times can give our doctors some resting time.
Besides St. Joseph's, Dalin also sends doctors to 7 hospitals for support, such as Shouchuan Memorial Hospital. To help ease the worries of patients in remote regions, Dalin Tzu Chi Hospital does its best to support nearby hospitals to ensure medical needs are taken care of.
62 years ago, Father Antoine Pierrot from Holland was given the task of establishing a hospital in Yunlin due to the lack of medical centers in the area. He personally raised the construction fund in the United States. Later, he dedicated his entire life to the people of Taiwan. And now, at the age of 95, he truly believes that Taiwan is his home.
Hello.
Father Anton Pierrot visits the hospital rooms every afternoon.
Every afternoon at 4:30, one can see Father visiting the patients in their room. He visits everyone. He doesn't just go in to say hello. He actually sits down and chats with you.
Now 95 years old, Father Pierrot came to Taiwan 62 years ago from Holland. When he saw the lack of medical centers in Yunlin, he and Reverend Georges Masson set out to establish St. Joseph's Hospital. As there was a lack of funding, Father Pierrot spent 10 years raising funds in the United States.
The father recorded each donation, and after the amount he needed was met, he transferred all the money to Huwei for the construction fund.
Back then, Yunlin did not have a large hospital. When residents needed medical assistance, they traveled to other places. Thankfully, St. Joseph has been here safeguarding the local community.
It's a great contribution. Along the coastal region, this used to be the best hospital around. It was smaller before, but more was added on.
Father Pierrot says he's a Taiwanese person who happens to be born in Holland. This island is his home as he has been here for most of his life. We thank you for your services, Father.
来到台湾去，我也不认识台湾。我现在爱台湾，我的心就是在这里。
According to Malaysian government statistics, the official poverty in the country is very low. This figure has gone from nearly half of the population in 1970 to 0.6% in 2014. Analysis of this information should mean that Malaysia has very good anti-poverty policies. However, when examined in another light, developed countries such as Europe and the United States continue to have difficulties lowering the poverty rate to below 10%. This leads many to believe that Malaysia's official statistics may be misleading.
Now it's just 2 in the morning, but the Yayasan Nanyang Press has a number of volunteers gathered as they're about to head into indigenous villages in Pahang State's mountainous areas to distribute aid.
Malaysia's Pahang State is equivalent to the size of Taiwan. NGO volunteers from the capital of Kuala Lumpur are going to Pahang's mountainous region, as some 80% of this state is original forest. Many indigenous people live here without any water and electricity. To catch a glimpse of this indigenous village, we take a bus to the village and then go on motorcycle into this tropical rainforest. Here we see thatched roofs on all of these dwellings, which are scattered throughout this area.
In this forest, it is hard to find suitable wood to build this residence.
In indigenous tribes, a standard house is much like this, with a thatched roof and wooden walls and a floor. 3 families live in this house, with each family occupying one room, as there may be a dozen people living here.
This house is very flammable, and yet these houses have cooking fires.
When we get food, we put it here so it can cook.
There's no water and electricity in this indigenous village. Fires caused by cooking have burned many houses, with these residents forced to live in a community activity center, which is also the village's largest building and also its school.
Most of the parents here collect rubber and they leave their children here and work until evening before returning home.
Charity groups bring compassion and assistance, installing a solar panel to generate electricity on the roof of the school. This indigenous mountain tribe is gradually becoming used to advanced technology, which is making their lives more convenient, as they're all willing to participate in all sorts of activities. This indigenous language is not something that everyone can understand, but a smile is a universal language, as these children welcome the volunteers with their smiles.
When we help people, we see that they are happy, and this makes us happy, which is something money cannot buy.
Yayasan Nanyang Press makes an appeal on the internet as each month some 100 volunteers bring needed goods to the countryside.
Most Malaysian Chinese are very united, and whenever they see such reports about unfortunate families, there are those who are willing to donate.
With more and more funds, Yayasan Nanyang Press decided to set up a charitable foundation. This is Chinese philanthropy was dedicated to helping the weak, regardless of religion or race.
For low-income households, the government provides cheap rentals called government housing, and this is where charities do much of their work.
In Penang, this building has 3,600 households, and Malay and ethnic Chinese and Indians are all housed here. Poverty doesn't discriminate amongst races.
She has no fixed income, and she's a single mother who's extremely poor and doesn't have an education.
This Malaysian charity, 7979, not only assists families in distress but also aids in major domestic and international disasters, mobilizing volunteers to travel around the country. It has a total of 90 stations, with 25 of which open to vulnerable children.
It doesn't mean that these poor children cannot study, but in fact they have no opportunity to study.
After school, these children go directly to the Care Association, take a shower, eat, write homework, and are surrounded by love and compassion, which they don't get at home.
In Malaysia, poverty is on the increase as there are more people living on the poverty line.
Chung has been promoting the concept of food banks, which is something that he learned from Taiwan.
Taiwanese society is very strong. I think people in Taiwan put a lot of focus on vulnerable groups.
Making a special trip to Taiwan to learn how to conduct this social service, visiting nearly all of Taiwan as it tries to emulate the 1919 disaster relief system, coming up with a similar name based upon the example of Taiwan.
What I learned there is that we can't use 1919 because that means to save someone in Taiwan. So we use 7979, which has the same meaning.
There are poor families around the world. As long as they are willing to accept our help, we're willing to help them as much as possible.
Love has no borders, and for those who need help, whether it's in Taiwan organizations such as 1919 or Malaysia 7979, help and human compassion is given to all those in need.
Tzu Chi kindergartens in Malaysia holds a regular sports day every year. This year, parents and children from Tzu Chi kindergartens in Penang and Banyan La Paz gathered to participate in this special event. At this occasion, parents put their work aside and play games with their children. This not only helps strengthen family bonds, but also improve the parent-child relationship.
The sports day of Tzu Chi kindergartens is very unique as it focuses on the interaction between parents and children. By playing games together, parents and children can share experiences and ideas with each other.
Actually, we look forward to each year's sports day for parents and children because we usually don't have much time accompanying our children. I feel very happy for this year's event because it gave me a lot of chance to interact with my children.
This is such an activity that helps improve the parent-child relationship.
What impressed me is that there was a game teaching us about environmental protection. Since I was the person who led the team, I think it was hard work because I had to bend and squat down while walking. However, I felt quite happy during the process.
The parents hold the banner, meaning that they always shelter their children. Although it is a working day, the parents are willing to put their work aside to play games with their children.
Parents who needed to work asked for a half-day leave to participate in this sports day. Seeing that the children were full of energy, we also felt very happy.
After playing the games, children serve tea and desserts to their parents to thank their love and devotion.
At home, parents usually serve the children more than they do to us. After serving tea to us, they can now understand how to practice filial duties to their parents.
At the sports ground, the smiles of these parents and children are extraordinarily beautiful.
In Malaysia, heavy rain led to flooding in Teluk Bahan of Penang last July. After delivering assistance there, Tzu Chi volunteers continue to care for local residents. They recently led local government officials and residents to visit Tzu Chi Dialysis Center and Recycling Station. We'll leave you with these images at the end of our program. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.